Hey everybody, what is up? You're here because we're going to talk about the Sony ECM M1 microphone, this new awesome microphone which has 8 features, a lot of features. So we're going to be going over all the sound quality, as well as I'm going to show you the one thing you should be wary of when using this microphone. So stay tuned. So yeah everybody, this is the new Sony ECM M1 microphone. This is a great compact microphone, looks good on the Sony ZV-E10, it matches the size. Overall, my whole footprint now is a lot smaller than before. It's small compared to my face and compared to my hand. I'm 5'10", so this is what you can expect. Holding it out, it doesn't look as distracting as it would before, which is awesome. Here is how the Sony ECM B1M looked on my Sony ZV-E10. It didn't look terrible, however, in my opinion, the B1M looked a little goofy on the ZV-E10. So what's cool is that the features on the back carried over to the new microphone, but you can see, in comparison, the B1M only has 3 pickup patterns, and you get an additional 5 pickup patterns on the M1. I think that's what makes the M1 pretty much the ultimate microphone now. But let's start going over the back of the microphone. You can see they replaced the switches with a robust dial, and they moved the filter and attenuation switches to the side of the microphone, which is something I've wanted them to do if they made a new microphone, which is what they did. So before I get to what major issue you could face with this microphone, let's hear the pickup patterns first. Alright guys, so today we're going to be talking about the Sony ECM M1 and its features. Right now we're on the super ultra directional mode, and this is what it sounds like. I don't have any of the filters on, but this is what, how the sound quality will be. I'm in the middle of a park. There's a little breeze. It's not really that windy, but there's a little slight breeze going through. But yeah, so this was the super ultra directional. Alright, so now the mode we're in now was on the previous Sony ECM B1M and the B10. So this one shouldn't be new, but it should give you that same sound as before. I think I like this one better than the Ultra, because for an example that I can show you was when I was using the Ultra, and if you're just slightly off a little bit, your voice doesn't get picked up too well. But also there's a caveat to that, which we'll get into later. So this one is just the normal, a little bit wide angle cardioid, and so you should get a little more off to the side. You should still hear me just fine. Back in the middle should be better, but either way, even if I'm off to the side, you should hear me a-okay. So yeah, there's that. Alright, so yep, we are now on the Omni Directional. So I have Haley behind the camera, so you should be able to hear her and more of atmosphere.
Yeah,
so there we go. And now if I'm off to the right, you should still be able to hear me, and Haley's still behind.
Yep.
So pretty much you could hear me anywhere I go. Anywhere I go.
There's no hiding you.
Okay, so this feature, you probably can't even hear me at all. You're gonna be able to hear Haley 100%.
Yeah, the microphone is gonna be facing me, facing the rear.
So this one is probably gonna be one of my new favorites. It's both rear and forward facing microphones, just because a lot of the times when I'm filming, I'll say something, then quickly pan over to Haley and she'll say something. So as much as Omni Directional is really good, I think this one will be just as good. You just gotta be a little bit more precise, but it should be very much the same.
Yeah.
So this one's exactly the same as what we just heard, except it's on the left channel and right channel, so that we can separate our voices in post when we're editing, to make sure levels are okay, or just mute someone else while they're talking. But however, obviously you don't want to be talking at the same time in most use cases during this one, so that you can actually edit those channels. So Haley's still behind the camera.
Yeah, I'm the camera lady today.
Yeah, so if we're talking at the same time, it's a little bit harder to edit, but there you go. So stereo is just like when you listen to music, or you hear a car drive by from, I guess this is the right side of the camera, all the way to the left side of the camera. It should, you know what stereo is, left to right. So
Alright guys, now we're using the ultra directional. We got the low cut. We got the low cut on. There's a little bit of a breeze coming through. Not too super windy, but a nice breeze. And then this time we have the noise canceling feature on. Perfect. We had a kind of a loud car just drive by, so hopefully you can see, or maybe you didn't hear it, and that's what we hope for.
All right, so now I'm just using the super directional at the moment. Since, you know, Haley and I are in the center, it should be fine. You should be able to hear both of us. But now we're gonna give you some examples. I have the low cut filter on at the moment, but I'm gonna give you some examples of when some of these filters and noise direction didn't sound great. We went to a restaurant the other day and the audio out of it didn't sound wonderful. And so I think these are good to note and show you guys that like there are some complications in terms of using some of these settings. Sometimes they're great and sometimes they are just not that great. But here are some examples. All right, what do you think?
So I took a bite of mostly just the meat. It looks like it's got the sauerkraut pepper on it, which that was actually really nice flavor, a little spicy. Overall, this would be good if it had, I'd say, a little more spinach and less fat. I would say my only complaint is I wish it was a little more than just 2 thinly sliced pieces of meat. Like, it's very delicious, but I wish there was just a little more meat, maybe 1 more slice.
I will say my only complaint is that I wish it was more than just 2 really thin slices of chashu.
Okay, so we've seen on Yelp that this place either has really great reviews or really bad reviews. So we decided to try it out and be the judge of that.
All right, right now we're just using the wider cardioid directional setting, but as well, we have noise canceling on. There's a bit of a hum, there's an airplane hum in the background. I'm pretty sure noise canceling is not the proper filter to use, but we're just using that for this example. The ECM M1 had terrible, absolutely terrible wind resistance with the deck head on.
Oh yeah, it was pretty bad.
It was quite awful. It's getting bright.
Yeah, because I think like the first time you listen to it, you're like, what the heck?
And I was like, what?
What is this?
I was like, what's the point of this deck cat? It's like not even working. I haven't been in a windy situation with this microphone yet, so I can't really explain to you how this one does, or I can't really show you in comparison how this one does. I mean, the best thing I could do is maybe like blow into the microphone.
I can blow into the microphone real quick.
Do it. I don't know if that does anything.
Artificial wind.
Yeah, because also it didn't matter if any of the filters were on; it still sounded terrible.
Yeah.
So here's some of those examples. This is like 8 feet away, 8 to 10 feet away from the camera. I don't know if you can hear me. I am speaking a little bit louder than I would be, but as we are getting, it's hot out here, guys. Here I am again, 10 feet away from the camera. This is pretty far. Am I quiet still? Probably. But as I get closer, it should be picking up pretty well, is my assumption. So yeah, now let's move on to Omni Directional. I know you guys may hate to hear me say it, but Godzilla was here! He was right here!
You said you guys, I think you're talking about me.
I'm hoping the dead cat is doing its job. But yeah, so this is Omni Directional. Alright guys, we are indoors. I'm using the super directional mode right now. I have low cut filter on. You know, the AC's on, so we'll see how that goes. But what I wanted to say is when you're using the ultra directional, that, you know, really thin line one, you have to really be careful because, you know, once I was doing a voiceover and I had the microphone, you know, facing kind of up towards my mouth, sitting at my desk. But even then, that didn't pick it up very well, and I'm going to show you the audio clip right here. But that didn't pick it up very well at all. So I think, like, you have to be really precise when you're using that super directional. You have to be, like, really pretty much in front of the microphone. Because here's how the, camera angle-wise, here's how the microphone was sitting. Kind of like this. And I was speaking down to it. But even then, that didn't pick it up very well.
So this is everything that we ate at Epcot's Food and Wine Festival. First we got the curry peppercorn wings and the garlic parmesan wings. Garlic parmesan wings were by far my favorite. Peppercorn hit me like a truck. It was spicy. Next, I got the Wagyu beef from Japan, and it was kind of a letdown. Beef was good, but it's mostly rice, so pass. Then we got the lamb gyro. Very yummy, very delicious and juicy.
But just something to be wary of. But yeah, so that is my overview of the microphone. Love this microphone. It's pretty good. It does everything and more that the B1M did. But I'm just happy to have something smaller than the B1M, because that looked a little goofy, not gonna lie. So having something like this, of course, is still a little goofy with how tall it is, but it's still really small, so somewhat inconspicuous. But yeah, thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll check you guys in the next Cozy Experience. Peace!